All right, here we are navigating the dirty pocket. Welcome
That's right.
in to all those who might be listening and watching, and to my co host, the scout, Mr. Daniel Kelly. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well, thank you, Stacy. How are you?
I'm half asleep, but hanging in there. It's been a busy week. Busy week. It's time to talk a little bit of football with a friend. So, pretty excited about that piece. And as it turns out, we have a few things to talk about.
We
We have a
do.
few things to talk about.
We
Before we
do.
get started, what is our beverage of choice for
Wow,
this here
I
episode?
had a sneaky suspicion that you would ask me. Let's take a listen, folks,
Oh,
to the live opening of the bottle.
all right. Hello,
Hey,
Clixer.
Clixer, what's going on? Hey, there it goes. There it goes. The top's coming off. Okay,
Oh,
just
this is we're
just like a receiver takes the top off of defense, I take the top
what?
off of soda.
Oh, okay,
Okay, here,
okay.
here we go. Ready for this? Okay, so tonight we are drinking
Oh,
Voltage Mountain Dew, a raspberry.
oh.
It says charged with the raspberry citrus flavor and ginseng. This is the perfect Betty Buy
What?
beverage. Okay,
Oh yeah, that'll knock you out.
yeah, this is good stuff. Let's take a taste here and see what we think. I've never had
All
this one
right,
before.
all right. You do it.
Remember the time
I'm
I had
out.
the Doritos one?
No one can forget that interesting episode.
Mm, that's refreshing.
All
That's
right.
refreshing. All right, ready for my little rendition?
We need the jingle so we can talk football.
Absolutely. When you announce retirement again, TV12, reach for a Mountain Dew Voltage, raspberry flavored, for your next comeback. This message furnished by the National Football League.
Oh my. Well, I will tell you what, we're going to lead off with some stuff
Oh,
about
what
that
are you
guy.
drinking? What are you
But
drinking? What's
water.
up? Water?
It's all about water. It's all
Water?
about water. Clixer, hopefully
Water?
you're drinking something more interesting than that.
Water?
Uh,
That's of course. I mean, what kind
I
of sponsorship do you ever get? I mean, I guess we could
I'll tell
maybe
you
one
what
of the
I
bottling
get.
water
The
companies.
the sponsorships are when you're drinking water and hydrating and you're this sexy. This is what happens.
You
You
see,
you drink a little
I
you drink a little stuff in there. Oh no! Oh, Clixer lemonade coming in with the lemonade.
lemonade
Solid
coming in
choice.
hot with the lemonade.
MTO, welcome,
What's up,
MTO. You can
MTO?
bet we're going to discuss your comment. I will share that forthcoming. But in the way of getting started, look, it's 30 minutes of straight football here on the
Here
pocket,
we
and
go.
we
Put
got
the
to
ball in the
start.
tee. Let's roll, baby.
We got to talk about.
Voltage is getting me fired up.
Yeah. That's a great idea. Uh,
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
super healthy for you. Listen,
Well, it's fruit flavored. It's fruit
Tom
flavored. That's what I was
Brady,
getting.
TB12 has left the building. He's left the MTO. Nice choice. Water. Same thing, man. TB12 has left the building in an emotionally charged. Looks like his iPhone sitting on a beach somewhere with condos behind him in Tampa Bay. People are selling the sand now on eBay or some crazy thing. I don't know. Tom Brady retires. What say you, Scout? The GOAT. The GOAT has left the building.
For now.
The- You're holding to that.
Oh, absolutely, I am. I think what we're looking at here is listen. Tom Brady is the greatest competitor we've seen in the National Football League over the last quarter of a century. Just about okay. And I understand what you said last week, Stacey. He looked a little bit different walking off the field, but this guy, he'll have a chance to recharge his batteries. I'm retiring. You know what that means? I'm retiring means I don't want to be a part of the NFL's offseason mandatory weight, programs and conditioning programs.
Really?
It means I'm going to take some time away from the game and I'll see you in Las Vegas or San Francisco. That's what it means.
Really? You're
Yes.
holding true to this.
Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. That's Tom Brady. He is going to throw a football until they literally have to carry him off the field. This guy is a competitor through and through, and he is going to continue playing. Listen, this guy put his marriage on the line to continue the game. He's not walking away on a sour note. The Super Bowl is in Las Vegas next year. The Raiders, 2 + 2 = 4.
Listen, have you been checking this stuff out over the last couple of days? Clixer couldn't even imagine the stupidity of that. It blows my mind that
I
there's
can get
one
sand.
person.
I'm in Key West. I can get some sand too.
Just ridiculous, ridiculous. But listen, Tom Brady's on Instagram taking selfies in his underwear now. I mean, have you seen this? And he's
That's a
tagging Gronkowski and Julian Edelman and asking, "Hey, how do I look? Is this right?" In his underwear. I don't know. I think you had an interesting take on this the first time he retired. I think this might be it. I think he signed a $375 bazillion TV package with Fox, which I just learned today he's not even going to start until not 2023, but 2024, which is interesting. He's
that's.
taking a year off. Maybe
Or
maybe
is
you're on.
he?
Maybe
Or
you're
is
onto
he?
something there. There might be something
Or is
interesting
he?
going on there. MTO, yeah. Tom Brady, Antonio Brown. Oh, dark times right there. But you continue to believe that Tom Brady comes back.
I do. I absolutely
Okay.
do. I see him being reunited with Josh McDaniels out there with the Las Vegas Raiders, his old OC with the New England Patriots. Derek Carr is going bye-bye. It's a one-season deal. It's either that or his childhood team, the San Francisco 49ers. It's one of the two. I'm sticking with it.
Okay, all right, all right. You heard it here first, folks. February on the Dirty Pocket. But listen, before we get into a litany of other interesting things, you believe if he does indeed stay retired, Mr. Trask, he can fill in Tampa. They'll be a competitive football team.
Well, absolutely. Tom Brady's not coming
Well,
back to Tampa Bay, but no, Kyle
no.
Trask, they have a quarterback there. I don't know what all the nonsense is about the Buccaneers needing a quarterback. They have Kyle Trask, my 2021 pre-draft QB3 behind Justin Fields and Mac Jones. Kyle Trask. This is a guy from Florida who I had a first round grade on coming out. I had projected between number 10 and number 32. He ended up actually going at I believe, number 64 overall, the Tampa Bay, who were, by the way, the defending Super Bowl champions coming off that Super Bowl down in Tampa at the time. He was drafted high in the second round by Bruce Arians. This guy has had nothing but time to sit behind the GOAT and learn and watch and learn and watch. He is in the absolute perfect situation to have success going into the 2023 season. That's my guy in Tampa Bay, Kyle Trask.
Okay. All right. Look, there's going to be a theme tonight in the pocket, and it's so apropos. We're going to talk about a lot of quarterbacks. You hinted at one, MTO hinted at it as well. It has to be discussed. Aaron Rodgers has informed the world that he's going into a 4 days of sheer darkness where someone slides food under a door in a secret location where he can just sit in silence and meditate about whether he wants to come back and win a fifth most valuable player award playing in the National Football League. Does Aaron Rodgers retire? Is MTO onto something with Las Vegas? Or does Aaron Rodgers end up somewhere else? This is getting bonkers. He's on Pat McAfee's show talking about sitting in the dark for 4 days. It's wild.
Yeah, I think he's been in the dark for 2-3 years, personally.
Even he was winning MVP.
But this is about Super Bowls, not selfish MVPs.
Fair
I'm
enough.
not the first one to say
Fair
this. And I
enough.
think, didn't somebody by the name of Gronkowski say the same thing?
Yes, fair.
Yeah, it's something where I definitely don't see him coming back to Green Bay. I think he's going somewhere. I don't think it's the Raiders, and I don't think it's the 49ers. I
Clearly.
think it could be somewhere completely different. But yeah, he'll be playing somewhere next year for sure. And it's not going to be the New York Jets either.
Yeah, who else, where else could it be? Look, don't give me even a Minnesota prediction because that defense was dead last. They were terrible.
No, that's just a spinoff of the Brett Favre thing.
Where else? What can we look at the NFC East? Is he a commander? No. Are the Giants going to part with Daniel Jones? No. The Cowboys, it was suggested at a golf tournament, people were yelling at him to come to the Cowboys. Apparently, Dak Prescott's on the outs with Cowboy fans. I don't know. I don't see him in the 49ers either. He actually said he wasn't going there. Aaron Rodgers, do you think, let me ask you this, Scout. Do you think there's any chance Aaron Rodgers comes back out of a dark shack and says, I think I'm going to call it. I think I'm going to walk away a Packer.
There's a chance, but I'm going to throw a team out there. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Steelers. Oh, interesting comment by Clixer here. You think the Steelers, Clixer, this plays into that as well. Maybe the Steelers is a code word for dark. I don't know. They just drafted the kid
He's
out of
not going to do
Pittsburgh,
it for him. He's not going
but
to do it for him.
Tomlin likes him.
He's not doing anything. That guy can't win his way out of a paper bag. I mean, he's not going to win anything for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That guy's not winning anything there. That's not happening.
Rodgers isn't going anywhere where he doesn't have a dyed-in-the-wool, honest shot at playing in the Super Bowl next year.
Pittsburgh.
I mean, yeah, you think Pittsburgh, what do they have on defense? What do they have at the receiver position outside of Pickens? And
let's put it this way.
Let's put
it this way. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a negative chance to win in that division. When you look at the quarterbacks in that division, obviously Lamar Jackson's up in the air in Baltimore, but you got Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, you got Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, Kenny Pickett, not a chance, zero chance for the next decade or however long he plays there with those type of quarterbacks there. They need to bring in somebody. And Aaron Rodgers is my pick to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he may make some noise there. That's a situation I can see him fitting into. He's got that kind of personality. Green Bay, the Pittsburgh, two flagship organizations. I mean that's where I see the fit. Dak Prescott's going nowhere in a hurry down in Dallas. He's staying there for the long haul.
Yeah, he'll fade into nowhere. I think the Clixer here is backing up your point. I'm going to throw out a dark horse to this group. What about
not the Rams?
No, come on now.
Okay, that's a really dark horse. Okay.
No. What about those Indianapolis Colts? What about that group? What about Aaron Rodgers? He's got the running game. He's got a defense. He's got a fantastic offensive line. They're somewhat competitive. They're in need of a head coach right now. You bring up a very good point, MTO. But what about C.J. Stroud sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for a year? They did this with Phillip Rivers. They did it with Matt Ryan. Do the Colts make a run at Aaron Rodgers? What do you think?
Very possible.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting, right?
Very possible.
Ooh, boy. A lot of stuff on the quarterback front.
And a dirty pocket. How poetic.
It is dirty. And, I don't know about that one, MTO. Daniel Jones of the Steelers. I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think
it's interesting. That Daniel Jones thing you bring up is interesting. I was just thinking when I was getting ready this morning, MTO, that now obviously the Jets don't have the cap space. They're 3 over the cap right now, $3 million. But it would be an amazing play by the Jets to get Daniel Jones if it were all possible, if they were able to restructure some deals and just do some different things. Also, I think the Washington Commanders would be a very interesting spot for Daniel Jones as well. But I've always been a Daniel Jones fan, so you don't need to sell me on that one.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't know. I don't see that happening. And I still think when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, I still think the Colts, and I know MTO is going to throw something at the screen. I do think the Jets are in play because of the Nathaniel Hackett situation, New York. I don't know. I think they're a little bit more of a dark horse, but it's possible. Okay. We got to move on to more quarterback news, and there's plenty of it to cover here in the pocket. What in the world are the Cardinals going to do about Kyler Murray? Terry Bradshaw comes out today and says Sean Payton wanted nothing to do with that job because of Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray and that contract and AJ Green upped and retired as well. MTO, I completely agree. Who's going to coach him at this point? The Cardinals are a hot mess express. We've got problems in Arizona now. What do you think is going to go on with Kyler Murray? What should the Cardinals do?
I think it's time to move on from Kyler Murray, whatever that means, however they need to do it. Kyler Murray, I mean, my wife Samantha and I watched the Hard Knocks, and it was just he was so incredibly underwhelming to me. Every time I saw him on the screen talking or anything else, he just seems to be kind of this like off in his own little world. He doesn't seem to have the leadership ability for that team. The team doesn't respond to him like that. You and I talked about it, during the show last year. What a colossal mistake by the Cardinals to give that kind of money to a guy who was 21 and 23-1 at the time as a starter. Obviously, the relationship that Cliff Kingsbury had. Did you know that him and Kyler Murray had the same agent?
Yes, I
There were
did.
some things that went
Yep.
on there, obviously, between the two, the whole dynamics there. With him getting the head coaching job and with Murray getting the huge extension. If Kyler Murray would have walked into my office and if I had been the general manager of the Arizona Cardinals and he would have asked for that kind of money, I would have closed the door and laughed. I mean, he hasn't done anything. So what did the Cardinals do? To answer your question, I think it's time to move on. I don't think we can sit here and say that the Cardinals shouldn't take a quarterback at 3 because I think the Kyler Murray ship has sailed in Arizona, and I think this is a great chance for Arizona to get. I mean, not only that, but he's coming off the big injury on top of it all.
Yeah,
It's that Arizona needs to take C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young at pick number 3 or do whatever they can to get one of those two guys. After Chicago picks one, takes Jalen Carter, they've got to come away from this draft with one or the other two guys.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Klixer, I couldn't help but notice that as well with Brian Flores ending up as the DC in Minnesota. Very interesting.
That is a good point.
In terms of living life, Arizona, a little nicer than Minnesota in the summertime or wintertime. And I have to agree, interesting trade proposition here from MTO.
Yeah.
They've got to figure out a way to unload Kyler Murray. I don't know how. I don't know who wants him. I don't know who would want him. But if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I mean, that move, the re-upping Kingsbury and Kyler Murray is what got Steve Keim done in Arizona. Terrible, terrible decisions with those two guys. Very interesting. I think Lamar Jackson sweepstakes are going to heat up with some of those teams that are kind of, sort of on the cusp, like a New York Jets or one of these other teams that just, the Houston Texans. Reach out and grab Lamar Jackson. I mean, trade that pick and parlay it into a bunch of picks and try to go get Lamar Jackson. But Kyler Murray, I mean, can Kyler Murray, would the Houston Texans make a move for him? Trade draft? I mean, who would do it?
No, I don't see anybody out there that would. I mean, this is not a proven quarterback. I mean,
Not at all.
Teams are going to go after Lamar Jackson because he's actually accomplished some things. It's Daniel Jones is coming off an impressive playoff run. Jimmy Garoppolo has won over 70% of his games. There's a bunch of guys out there you can go get that have actually done something in this league and have done a lot more than Kyler Murray has. And so I don't know. I don't know where he would end up like that. Not only that, but the injury. See, for his game, when we saw RG3, okay, his game was running around, making defenses adjust to him, like he was at Baylor when he came into Washington for the Redskins there. Once he had that catastrophic knee injury, that's the last we ever heard from RG3 until he was doing ESPN work, because that was his game, was running around. Now Kyler Murray has this injury. I don't know. I don't know if it's even going to be the same guy. And at his size, I don't like the forecast.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Okay, let's shift gears to another. It's going to be the all quarterback episode. The Denver Broncos and Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. And if you didn't see the press conference with Sean Payton, they even asked him, hey, it turns out Russ had his own coach in the building that no one knew about. And Payton played stupid. Terry Bradshaw comes out today and says that Sean Payton, while working for Fox, said he really didn't want to work with Russell Wilson either. But, what choice did he have? Oof. What do we expect to see out of the Denver Broncos? I'm a little surprised Sean Payton took that job.
Well, here's what we expect from the Denver Broncos. They turn up your volume. They will be the worst team in the National Football League in 2023. Was anybody out there listening to how Sean Payton was talking about Caleb Williams and about this lottery thing and all this, that, and the other? Trust you and me, he wants Caleb Williams expect Denver to be the absolute worst team in the National Football League.
Wow.
So he can go ahead and take them in the 2024 NFL draft, number 1 overall.
Okay, interesting. Broncos are going to be that bad under Sean Payton.
That
Interesting
bad.
comments. Just closing up the thing on Houston here for Clixer. I do think too. Yeah, Houston has so many needs. A lot of comments coming in there. Couldn't agree more on all of them. But the Broncos, you think that they literally tank out for Caleb? Is Caleb Williams that generational of a talent at the NFL level? I don't want to hear about USC. We talk about Trey Lance. We talk about all these other guys that are just, oh my goodness, at the college level. Johnny Manziel. Is Caleb Williams a game changer in the NFL?
Well, you saw my head before my words even came out of my mouth. My head started shaking. No, I haven't studied Caleb Williams. Now, he does some impressive things on some of the games I've seen, runs all around, that he throws the ball and stuff. There's some impressive things, but I don't think so. Give me Spencer Rattler any day of the week over Caleb Williams.
Oh, it appears you and MTO should have a scouting service together. Seconds before you said it, he too likes Spencer Rattler.
Absolutely. I compared at the end of August when I launched my NFL draft site, First Round Mock, I put out an article on the site that compared Spencer Rattler to Patrick Mahomes. Everyone got all over me about it. It was kind of a slow start, but nobody was getting on me down the stretch now, were they? No, because he has found a home. He has settled in a quarterback where he's at, and that is a quarterback. If I'm a GM, I'm taking Spencer Rattler all day long over Caleb Williams.
Wow,
he's a pretty
interesting.
pretty boy from USC. So, it's he might as well go ahead and not paint 1-1-1-1-1 over his fingernails, because he's not going number 1 if I can help it.
Yeah, there's just a lot about that. Look, I realize my age versus today's player, but I don't like that stuff. It's like, yeah. I mean, we saw this with Kyler Murray. We were just talking about him. Very interesting comments coming in from the guys listening in about some of these quarterbacks and possible homes and where they land. Yeah, Bryce Young, very, very interesting choice. And yep, the scout, follow the scout there at firstroundmock.com. He'll be breaking down some of those plays. Ooh, I really like Marvin Harrison Jr. too. Mm-hmm. Really like him. There's going to be some great guys coming about. Okay, with what time we have left, got to discuss news, breaking news, kind of news, not news. It's now looking like Brock Purdy doesn't need surgery, and he may be back for training camp. I mean, I'm sure this bodes well for Trey Lance, right? Oh boy, floodgates. Here we go.
Trey who?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, no, it does bode very well for the 49ers and for Brock Purdy not to need the Tommy John surgery and stuff. And yeah, that's the guy in San Francisco. I mean, clearly anybody with who's looking at their TV screen could see that Brock Purdy is the long-term answer for the San Francisco 49ers. He fits Kyle Shanahan perfectly.
Oh, wow. Oh, so bold prediction here from MTO. He lands with the Titans and Malik Willis and
my QB1 from 2022, Malik Willis, absolutely.
A kid off the street, the janitor, everybody's going to be better than Trey Lance no matter where he lands. Welcome to Scout Kelly.
There you go. That's great analysis right there, Stacey. You've been with me now for a while, you know.
I mean, you think Trey Lance had stole your lunch money. I know you just don't.
That's what people say on social media. They think that, but I'm like, all I'm doing is writing down what he's put on his football resume on game film. That's it.
I wouldn't be surprised. My prediction in the Trey Lance ongoing sweepstakes is that I would not surprise me one bit if we see him moved on draft night as just a package for draft picks. Just him, get him out of the building, give up some stuff to move up or something. I think that they now know that wasn't the best idea. Yeah, Clixer, listen, if you've been listening a long time, Clixer, you know that I certainly felt that way. I think the scout does too.
Absolutely.
Mac Jones, that whole draft is starting in hindsight now for Kyle Shanahan, and to get to the NFC Championship and fail again, you just go, my God, the rumor leading up to the draft was Mac Jones. Then suddenly it shifted to Trey Lance.
The
Trey
night before the
Lance is the
draft.
pick.
Yeah.
And you look at Mac Jones, who's kind of struggling a little bit in New England, and you think Mac Jones in the Shanahan offense with Christian
Oh.
McCaffrey and George Kittle, and you go, oh boy.
Not only that,
Oh
but look
boy.
at Justin Fields in Chicago. Can you imagine him running around with that offense in San Francisco with Shanahan? It'd
Yeah.
be frightening. He'd be so good. But
Oh,
Mac Jones, too. I mean, Mac Jones, yeah, either one of those guys. I in my mind, you know how it goes where stuff just goes through your mind. I keep thinking Houston Texans for Trey Lance. That's what keeps going through my mind.
interesting.
Every time I think about it, I think about the Texans.
Huh. I mean, they've got a real opportunity to get a franchise quarterback there in this year's draft.
Yep.
Klixer, he's okay. Okay, he's talking a little bit about this comment, Mac Jones and Bill O'Brien, and
Absolutely.
that's a combo. Klixer's piping in that he agrees. MTO, we've got a love fest here, folks. Everybody's in agreement. It really is something, and you got to feel for Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. I mean, just look, it's not looking good. I mean, I don't know if he comes back and he's a whole new player, but Houston Texans is a possibility, says the scout. Okay.
Yeah, well, let me say something. Can I say something really quick? This is the problem when teams overvalue a player. It's an incredible disservice from a scouting standpoint what the 49ers did to Trey Lance, because had they brought him in as a 5th, 6th, 7th round undrafted free agent, which is where I had him pre-draft documented, he's somebody you can bring in the practice squad. You can bring him along. You can play him in some packages. All the expectations are removed. But when you bring a guy in and give 3 number ones, listen, you better have a guy show up on the field that's a franchise quarterback for 3 number ones, not a guy who's scout player of the week, okay, like he was his first season on NBC, okay? Not that guy. You need a guy that's going to be like I want to see Deshaun Watson show up for 3 number ones. I want to see a gamer. I want to see a guy who's a superstar for 3 number ones. Not this guy. Listen, Trey Lance is going to go down as the biggest bust in the history of the National Football League on draft day. 3 number ones? No. Mm-mm.
Oh man, you better pray that doesn't happen, MTO. That'll be a quite a dirty pocket episode.
Hey, it's not even April Fools, and MTO's coming out with the jokes.
Oh my goodness, I think Will Anderson is my early bust from this draft. That's all I'm going to say. Interesting comment here from Klixer. Could Trey Lance move into a Taysom Hill type role? I don't know that we saw enough of him. I don't know. It's a good comment. It's an interesting one. Again, to the scout's point, 3 number ones for a guy who's a gadget player like Taysom Hill, this is just shaping up to be a disaster.
To your point, Klixer, I think that would probably be the best role for him in this league if there is one. But my concern, would be that the injuries. He's so injury prone. If you got him banging around, running the ball like that, I don't know if his body's going to withstand the contact. But that would probably be a better situation for him. Just kind of coming as a gadget player. And that's where I kind of saw him all along. I said, this is a perfect guy to run your scout team. That's what I said. And, the 49ers jumped on him like he was the next Bart Starr or something.
Okay. And then finally, just as we wrap up with only a couple minutes left in this week's Dirty Pocket, the New York Jets, we like to do that. MTO's a big fan. You write for them for Sports Illustrated. Look, do they trade for a quarterback? Do they stick Zach Wilson back there? Does anybody survive standing in the pocket for the New York Jets if they don't go offensive line heavy in this draft?
No, it makes no difference to your point, Stacey. If they don't go offensive line with every single draft pick that they have this year, I mean, listen, this is a team that has 6 offensive linemen under contract currently, as I wrote about for Jets SI. Okay, and Elijah Vera Tucker is the best of the group. It's a steep decline from there. You got guys like Mekhi Becton, who hasn't played for 2 years. And let me tell you something. Bill Parcells used to talk about 2 years in the NFL being a lifetime. 2 years being out of the game for a guy who's done nothing but struggle with weight issues and injuries is like a decade. That's like for other players. He's not coming back. They have nothing at offensive tackle to speak of. And respectfully, Max Mitchell, the 4th-round pick last year, had serious blood clot issues, so it's questionable whether he comes back or not. They have nobody. Their center is probably going to walk as well. Connor McGovern, he's probably gone in free agency because they can't afford him. They're trying to spin it a different way, but it comes down to not being able to afford him. I think he's about a $9 million a year cap guy. And so the Jets have no offensive line. And that's why I laugh when they talk about Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets, a 40-year-old statue going to behind a no offensive line with the Jets. The New York Jets are a 2-year proposition at this point. To your point, Stacey, year number 1, go heavy on the offensive line in the draft and rebuild that. See, this is something that this isn't a surprise, folks. Joe Douglas has drafted 4 offensive linemen in his first 3 drafts. What did he expect to have happen?
Yeah, it's inevitable.
It's inevitable. So, I mean, this is what's happened. This is why I write about every other week, it seems like, for Jets SI talking about him. And so it's just not a good situation. You could put Zach Wilson back there. You could pull someone on the stands and put him back there if you want to this year. I like Malik Cunningham a lot. Obviously, he's my QB3 for this draft from Louisville. You need to get somebody, and I wrote this week for Jets SI, that's mobile. You need a guy like a Malik Cunningham. Maybe if Lamar Jackson re-ups in Baltimore, you go get yourself a Tyler Huntley. Bring him in, let him run around back there. Or maybe you go get like a, Taylor Heineke out of Washington if you can afford him. Somebody that has some mobility and toughness and stuff to play behind that kind of offensive line. He's going to hit it a lot. You need to do something like that. The last thing in the world the Jets need is a guy who's immobile.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. We got to close there for this week, but Anthony Richardson.
No, MTO. Don't get me started.
That's a whole nother hour.
Let me say this quickly, okay?
Yeah, please, quick.
Anthony Richardson makes Trey Lance look like a superstar, and we all know how I feel about Trey Lance.
Yeah, there's no way. That's a follow the scout on First Round Mock for more on Anthony Richardson, but that is, boy, Jets fans will regret that. I mean, that would be insane.
I just wrote an article this week for Jets SI. The 3 big name players to stay away from in the 2023 draft, and Anthony Richardson was one of them. Go check it out.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, folks, parting shots for this week of the Dirty Pocket. What's your parting shots?
Let's see.
Oh no.
Let's see what's my parting shot for this week. Let me just say, okay, I got one. Okay. Who's ever talking about Will Levis being the first pick in the entire draft? That's a biggest disaster as Anthony Richardson is. Will Levis, I put a 100% bust rate on him. It's the first time I've ever done that. This guy has no chance in the NFL. Turn the page, move on. Will Levis, don't do it. If there's an NFL owner or somebody that knows an owner out there, don't do it.
All right. My parting shot is this. The Pro Bowl is an abomination. I didn't watch 1 second of it, and I never will. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Now we're having water balloon fights and all. End this charade. Do something for kids. Do something else. It is absolutely ridiculously stupid. Okay, Scout, as we roll the credits, Super Bowl Sunday, give us your pick.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles win.
They win.
Okay. My pick is Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes cements himself as one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the modern era. We'll leave it at that.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
This is a real sad episode. This is the last time you can say it, Stacey. Go ahead.
No, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
One more time. Do it one last time.
Wait, before that, I want to give our guys a chance to pipe on. MTO goes with the Chiefs. MTO and I are clearly ahead of the curve, but not to leave the scout by himself. Clixer comes in with the Eagles in 2 very high-scoring predictions, gentlemen. 2 very high-scoring predictions. Look at that. Okay, let's hope for a good, entertaining Super Bowl. And that is it this week from the dirty pocket. And I just want to say it has been a wonderful, phenomenal, and fantastic year as a fan of the world champion Los Angeles Rams for 5 more days. Eat it out there, NFL world. To our folks that took the time to listen in, thanks again for both of you guys.
Absolutely.
And follow the Scout on FirstRoundMock.com. Enjoy my interviews with Preston Denard on Gridiron Icon. And folks, don't drink what the Scout is drinking. It is bad for every inch of your body.
It's fruit
All right.
flavored.
We will see you next week. Great to see you guys.